Just on Bellingham, Stu. So I think he's 16 and 17 goals this season, or 15 and 16 he was in the league. It's just incredible. We've talked already a lot about the impact that he's having on this team, what he's doing to his career. This injury, whether it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, it's an ankle injury. Let's just hope, especially with ankles. I don't know if you ever had an ankle injury when you were playing, but you have to be really careful because sometimes you kind of come back, but then you can easily have a setback.
You have to make sure your proprioceptors are working again, which is the thing that makes you, from your actual ankle turning, your reflexes to make it not turn. It looked, because it wasn't just once. He did it twice in the game.
Right,
so he did it early on in the halfway through the first half,
and he stayed on the floor a little bit.
He stayed on the floor, and when we saw the replay, he thought that looked bad. We were surprised that he got through that, and then he slipped in the box, and then he caught his ankle again. And that did look a bad one. But hopefully it's only 3-4 weeks. But he's going to have to make sure the treatment's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, to come back. If you're Carlo Ancelotti now, and again, Real Madrid are in a very good position in the league. We will discuss that later. But there's a big Champions League game coming against Leipzig, who are going to be better than Girona, certainly on that day. Do you keep the same formation? That diamond midfield, and you put Brahim Diaz as a 10, for example, and you still have Vini and Rodrigo, or as we saw in this game and as you mentioned already before in the debrief, you put Vini and Rodrigo back as wingers where the natural position is, and you put Joselu as a 9, and then you midfield 3 behind, whether that's Camavinga, Valverde and Cruz, or whoever you want. What would you do?
Well, that's the options he's got. Joselu, I saw play a couple of weeks ago, and he played very well as the main centre forward. Scored a couple of goals. He was always lively in the box. He has a good touch to take him past a defender. I can't remember. I think it's Getafe. I think he played really well against. But I think he will stick with, and he won't play them quite as wide. I think Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo will play sort of inside right for those that remember those positions. Inside right, inside left, and Brahim will play at the top of a diamond in midfield. I think that's what they will play. And I like the fact that Camavinga didn't play as the holding player. Toni Kroos played as the holding player. And Camavinga, I thought,
he's outstanding.
He's outstanding. His pace, how he took defence to attack, was excellent. So I would stick with that, and Valverde on the right-hand side of that midfield diamond, with Vasquez probably in another game getting forward down the right-hand side. Getting crosses into the box, and Mendy doing the same down the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense to just keep that formation that has been working, the system that's been working so well, and that suits Brahim in a way, because I think Brahim could be a very capable number 10, and we've seen him doing well when he played there. Yeah. I think now Rodrigo and Vinicius have been more used to playing in those positions, and then I think for Camavinga and Valverde, this is the perfect formation as well. I think people have slept a little bit on Camavinga this season, I feel. And maybe because Bellingham has been so good and because Vini is the star. But I think Camavinga has been outstanding.
That's it. With Camavinga, there's one slight problem I have with it. I don't like him in the holding midfield role.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because when he's not so good in tight areas.
Yeah.
There's times when the ball gets played into him and he's not aware of players coming around the back of him, and he sort of then gives possession away in a bad area.
Yeah.
And if it gets too tight, he might have the ball nicked off of him. But when he gets in that sort of left-sided midfield in a diamond, and there's space in front of him, and he avoids the first challenge, he goes from there to there so quickly. And I mean,
he's so strong.
He was powerful, he was quick, he made good decisions. I think he was outstanding, and he wins the ball back. And I think he's curbed his sort of appetite to go and foul people. You know, he's just a much better attackman.
He's learning how to manage himself, definitely. And he's still such a young player.
Yeah.
You know, let's not forget how early he moved to Real Madrid from Rennes as well. So it's not.
Because we remember when he played those first few games for Rennes. When
exactly.
I actually did him in, I think, his second game. And I didn't know too much about him. And someone said, it's 16. What?
Yeah.
16. He played with such maturity and so much composure.
There was that game against PSG in Rennes, where in the start of the season, it was August or something, and he was only 17. That must have been his second season or first full season. And he just ran that game and bossed that game, and Verratti could not get close to him. No. They could not get the ball off him. It was really impressive. And I think, again, if you put him in the right environment and the right position, because I think he can play as a 6, but you're right, it's not, you don't get the best out of him.
You lose something. If you play him in that number 6 role, you lose something.
I think he's a perfect kind of box-to-box with the freedom to go forward and back and do all that kind of energy that he has. Because that's why I think he's so good.
Yeah.